One day, you will wake up, but it will be too late. The clock will keep ticking, but your chances will not. The mirror won't reflect potential anymore, only regret. The truth? Most people don't die when their heart stops. They die the moment they stop chasing what sets it on fire. This life isn't waiting. Your purpose is calling, loud, raw, unapologetic, and you have two choices: rise now or rot slowly behind the lie that says, there's still time. So let me ask you, how many mornings do you have left to become who you were born to be? Somewhere right now, someone is taking their last breath, and their final thought isn't about what they had. It's about what they didn't become. They're not mourning lost money. They're mourning unlit moments. They're not weeping over rejection. They're weeping over silence, the silence of never having tried. And if you listen closely enough, there's a scream of potential in that silence that was never unleashed, of a life that could have meant something, but died in pieces behind excuses, delays, and distractions. The world doesn't need more people who wait for permission. The world needs people who wake up with fire in their bones and a promise in their souls, the promise that they will not leave this earth without fulfilling the reason they were born. You don't get this life twice. You don't get to rewind it, and you don't get to negotiate with the clock. There will be no warning when your final morning comes. No alarm that tells you, this is your last chance. That's why purpose cannot be a hobby. It must be your heartbeat. You must wake up with it pulsing through you like blood, like breath, like survival. Because without purpose, you're just existing, drifting, trading days for comfort and calling it a life. And let me tell you, there is no comfort in regret. There is no rest in remorse. So wake up before the alarm clock, before the doubts, before the world tells you who to be. Wake up with a decision that you will not go back to sleep on your dreams. You will not abandon your mission just because the path isn't paved. You are not here to coast. You are here to conquer. You are here to stand like a mountain in a world of quicksand, to carry your name like a banner into battle, not a whisper, but a roar. And if you ever forget what you're capable of, look around. Look at every skyscraper, every airplane, every bridge, every piece of art, song, invention, and revolution was born from minds no better than yours. They were not chosen. They were not anointed. They simply refused to settle. You don't need more luck. You need more commitment. You don't need more motivation. You need more movement. You don't need to be ready. You need to be relentless. Life will not slow down so you can catch up. It will leave you behind if you don't decide to run. The world belongs to the disciplined, not the dabblers, not the wishers, not the someday crowd. It belongs to the ones who show up when it's hard, when it's raining, when they're tired, when no one claps, when no one cares. That's where purpose is forged, not in the spotlight, but in the silence. In the early mornings when the rest of the world sleeps, you're building, studying, training, believing. It's not glamorous. It's not easy, but it's real. And that separates those who live fully from those who die with regrets. You have a choice. You can wake up with intention, or you can drift with inertia. You can define your day, or your day will represent you. You can chase your mission, or your excuses can bury you. But you can't have both. If your dream doesn't demand a different version of you, a stronger, wiser, bolder version, it's not big enough. It's not sacred enough. Because purpose doesn't fit inside your comfort zone. It's waiting outside where your fear lives. And that's where you must go. Step into it. Walk toward the resistance. Tear down the wall of who you've been so you can build who you were always meant to become. And when your legs shake, keep walking. When your voice cracks, keep speaking. When no one believes, believe harder. Because the ones who change the world don't have the most support. They're the ones who kept going long after the applause stopped. They didn't wait for clarity. They created it. They didn't wait for guarantees. They built resilience. They didn't ask, "What if I fail?" They asked, "What if I never try?" The question haunts the dying. What if I never tried? So ask it now while you can still answer with action. Because every day you wake up, you are standing on sacred ground, time you can never get back. This day will never come again. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to scroll it away? Doubt it away? Numb it away with distractions and conversations that go nowhere? Or will you plant something eternal in it, a decision, a commitment, a refusal to waste the breath that someone else is praying for? You don't need a new year. You need a new standard. Raise it. Wake up with purpose. Not to be productive, not to be busy, but to be deeply, undeniably aligned with your reason for being. You have one life, one shot, one sacred chance to leave a mark that echoes beyond your name. Do not die with your song still inside you. Do not let your greatness become someone else's inspiration. You didn't activate it in time. Your destiny is not a question. It's a command. Rise. Burn the old story. Break the old pattern. Bury the excuses where they belong in the graveyard of people who almost lived. And let this very moment be your resurrection. You are not born to repeat yesterday. You are not sculpted in the image of mediocrity. Somewhere deep inside, buried beneath the years of doubt, distractions, and default living, there's a version of you so fierce, so focused, so alive that it would terrify your former self. But that version is not unlocked by comfort. It is called out by conflict. It is born in the battle between who you are and who you refuse to die without becoming. You see, most people are not defeated by failure. They are defeated by fatigue, the fatigue of pretending, the exhaustion of performing for a world that never claps loud enough, the soul rot that sets in when you bury your fire under everyone else's expectations. But you are not made to wear masks. You are made to wear light. So strip it all away. The self-doubt, the excuses, the watered-down identity. Stand naked in your truth, flawed, unfinished, but real, and let that be enough to begin. Because purpose doesn't require perfection, it requires presence. Presence in your decision, presence in your intention, presence in the pain that shapes you into something unshakable. Most people will never meet themselves fully, not because they can't, but because they're afraid of what they'll find. The shadows, the regrets, the dreams are still beating under the skin, but the ones who change their lives and this world are the ones who are willing to go there, into the cave, into the silence, into the burning questions that don't have easy answers. Who am I when no one is watching? What do I stand for when standing alone costs me everything? What am I willing to lose to finally live? Because purpose has a price. It asks for your laziness. It asks for your ego. It asks for the false stories you've rehearsed for so long. You've mistaken them for identity. It strips you to your core so that what is eternal can finally be revealed. You don't need more time. You need more truth. You don't need more motivation. You need more meaning. And meaning is not found in scrolling, venting, or waiting for someone to permit you. Meaning is forged in the quiet fury of self-mastery, mastery that shows up even when inconvenient, uncelebrated, and invisible to the world. Look at the giants, the Lincolns, the Carnegies, the Disneys. They didn't ask life to be easier. They asked themselves to be better. They didn't beg for opportunity. They became so powerful in their purpose that opportunity couldn't ignore them. They didn't wake up to survive the day. They woke up to sculpt it, mold it, command it. They didn't drift. They directed. And now, it's your turn. No more hoping. No more half-trying. No more waiting for the perfect timing that never comes. Start now right here, in the middle of your mess, in the rubble of your past, in the heat of your fear. Start not because you feel ready, but because your soul is done waiting. Build rituals that defy your excuses. Build mornings that choke your laziness. Build thoughts so disciplined that they don't allow doubt to survive 5 seconds in your mind. And when the world tells you to slow down, play it safe, fit and remember, the system is designed to keep you average. The voices around you, they're echoes of the lives people gave up on. Do not let them become your compass. You know what's real. You feel it in your chest, that itch, that ache, that burn that says, there's more to me than this. And there is. But you won't find it scrolling through someone else's success. You'll find it in sweat, in silence, in the 1,000 small decisions you make when no one is watching. You'll find it when you choose your future over your comfort, again and again, until it becomes who you are. This is what it means to wake up with purpose. It's not about having a goal. It's about becoming the kind of person who refuses to live a life of quiet resignation. The kind who doesn't just pass time, but bends it, builds with it, blesses others with it. It's not about being the loudest in the room. It's about being the clearest, the most grounded, the most unwilling to live a counterfeit life. And when you walk like that with sacred clarity and daily discipline, the universe doesn't just notice, it aligns. Not because of magic, but because you became undeniable. So don't tell me you're tired. Tell me you're ready. Don't tell me you're stuck. Tell me you're done standing still. Don't tell me how hard it is. Tell me who you will become because of it. Because of this pain you feel, this stretch, this grind. It is not your enemy. It is your midwife. It delivers the version of you that you'll one day be grateful you dared to fight for. There will be scars. Let them be proof you didn't quit. There will be sacrifices. Let them be the currency of a life that mattered. There will be days when you don't recognize yourself good. It means the old you is dissolving and the real one is emerging. And when you finally look in the mirror and see a person who fought their demons, chased their greatness, and refused to settle for anything less than purpose, you will know it was all worth it. Every early morning, every hard choice, every lonely night. You'll know you chose the rare path, not the easy one, but the eternal one. You'll know you woke up not just out of bed, but into the fire of who you were created to be. And you'll know deep in your soul, you didn't die with regret, because you woke up with a purpose. And as you live with that purpose, day after day, hour by hour, you hear something strange. The noise fades. The distractions lose their grip. The opinions that once kept you paralyzed no longer sting. Not because the world has become quieter, but because your spirit has become louder. Purpose has a sound. And when you walk in it, it drowns out everything else. You begin to walk differently, not with arrogance, but with alignment. You no longer chase applause, you chase alignment. You no longer look around to see who's watching you, look within to ensure you're still honoring your mission. And suddenly, what used to feel like pressure begins to feel like privilege, because you realize you get to do this. You get to wake up. You get to build. You get to fail, learn, rise, repeat. And in that realization, life stops feeling like a sentence and starts feeling like a gift. But don't mistake purpose for ease. It's not soft. It's not romantic. It's raw. Purpose is gritty. It's hard. It's unforgiving. But it is true. It will wake you at dawn and haunt you if you ignore it. It will pull you forward even when your legs are tired. It will whisper in your ear when everything around you screams to quit, because purpose doesn't care about your comfort. It cares about your becoming. And the people who live fully do not have the most straightforward path. They're the ones who walked anyway. They're the ones who walked through confusion, through heartbreak, through storms, through criticism, through failure, and didn't stop. Because purpose isn't found in clarity. It turned through courage. This is why you cannot wait. Not another day. Not another moment. You cannot bargain with time. It does not care about your intentions. It listens only to your decisions. So decide now, before the world distracts you back into sleep. Decide that you will be dangerous to mediocrity, that you will be allergic to excuses, that you will not die a duplicate of someone else's expectations. Your breath is proof that your story isn't done. But breath alone is not life. Life begins when you decide to fight for what you were born to do, to step out of the shadows and into the fire, to stop playing small, to protect the fragile egos of people who gave up on their dreams. You are not here to be agreeable. You are here to be awake. So wake up to your patterns. Wake up to your power. Wake up to your potential. It is not buried. It is not broken. It is waiting, just behind your fear, just beneath the voice that says you're not ready, just past the moment you almost give up. That's where your purpose lives. And it's been calling your name since the day you were born. You didn't ask for permission to dream when you were a child. You didn't negotiate with logic. You just believed. You ran toward the world with wonder, fire, and no ceiling on what was possible. That wasn't a phase. That was your truth. You weren't naive, you were real. You were raw. And somewhere along the way, they told you to quiet it down, to be realistic, to aim lower, to play nice, to sit still. Well, now it's time to unlearn all of that. It's time to remember who you were before the world told you who to be, because that version of you, the one with wide eyes and wild dreams, is still alive, still waiting and still whispering beneath the noise. But that voice grows weaker every time you ignore it, every time you choose safety over spirit, every time you select validation over vision. So feed it, speak to it, protect it, let it guide you. That voice, that original you, is the only compass that won't lie to you. And the more you listen, the more your life will align, not with what's expected, but with what's eternal. And once you wake up to your purpose, you'll see it everywhere. You'll see it in the stranger who needed your words. You'll see it in the challenge that revealed your strength. You'll see it in the silence that once scared you, but now teaches you. You'll see that everything was preparing you for this moment. Even the pain, even the betrayal, even the delay. They were detours. They were refined. Because greatness is not gifted, it is crafted. You are being crafted right now, in the fire of your decisions, in the silence of your discipline, in the furnace of your sacrifice. And one day, you will look back not regretfully, but reverently, because you will know that while others were sleeping through their life, you woke up. And the moment you woke up, you became dangerous, dangerous to fear, dangerous to mediocrity, hazardous to the system that profits from your stagnation. You became a force, not because of who you were, but because of who you chose to become. And now, you're not just living a life. You're building a legacy, one that echoes far beyond your name, one that whispers to the next generation, you can rise too. And that, my friend, is purpose. It's not about you. It's about what wakes up in others when you finally wake up in yourself. You are not just waking up for yourself. You're waking up for the child who never had a voice, for the dreamer who was told to sit down, for the broken version of you that thought this life would never change, for every ancestor whose sacrifices became your starting line, for every future soul who will one day say, because of them, I didn't quit. You are the link between what was and what could be. You are the hinge on which destiny swings. You are the storm they didn't see coming, not because you are loud, but because you are unstoppable. So now, let it be known not in words, but in action, that you chose growth over comfort and discipline over distraction, that you decided to wake up and live every single breath like it mattered, because it does. This world doesn't need more passive dreamers. It needs builders, movers, carriers of light so bright it blinds excuses and burns through the fog of doubt. You are not made to watch. You are not made to wait. You are not made to live on the sidelines of your own story. You are made to move, to create, to speak, to rise, to lead. And no, it won't be easy. But easy never made legends. It was never supposed to be easy. It was supposed to be worth it. So every time the voice creeps in and says, "Why you?" answer with conviction, "Because I refuse to die with my potential still inside me." And when it says, "It's too late," tell it, "Then I will rise faster." And when it says, "It's too hard," say, "Then I will become stronger." Because the only thing harder than fighting for your life's mission is dying without ever knowing what it was. This is not motivation. This is a wake-up call. You don't have time to keep hitting snooze on your greatness. You don't have time to wait for someone else to hand you the blueprint. You are the builder. You are the blueprint. And yes, fear will try to follow you. Doubt will try to whisper. Failure will try to knock. Let them. Fear keeps you sharp. Doubt reminds you to prepare. Failure teaches you where to aim next. But none of them get to decide how your story ends. You do. Every day, with every decision, you write the sentence that will be remembered long after you're gone. Make it count. Don't die buried beneath what is. Don't leave this world wondering if you had more inside you. Leave empty. Leave used up. Leave with a soul that's been stretched, tested, pushed, and poured into every inch of your existence. Leave with fire in your chest and peace in your eyes. Leave like someone who woke up. So if today were your last day, would you be proud of how you spent it? Would you recognize the person in the mirror as the warrior you always promised yourself you'd become? Or would there still be too many excuses between you and your potential? Don't let that be your legacy. Burn the hesitation. Burn the distractions. Burn the narrative that says you're not ready. And wake up, not physically, but spiritually, mentally, emotionally, soulfully. Wake up to your genius. Wake up to your calling. Wake up to the fire that has waited long enough. Because you were not born to survive the day. You were born to own it, to mark it with excellence, to stamp it with vision, to fuel it with purpose so undeniable, even death has to wait its turn. So here it is, the final breath of this moment. Wake up with purpose, or die with regret. The choice has always been yours. You've made it here to the final breath of this message, but this isn't the end. This is the ignition, because now you've heard the words, but what you do next, that's the real voiceover. The one that plays out in your actions, in your habits, in your choices when no one's watching. That's the soundtrack the world will remember. You don't have to change your life in a day, but you do have to change your direction today. A shift, a turn, a choice so small the world won't notice, but your soul will. And that's all it takes. Because momentum doesn't begin with motion, it begins with meaning. The moment you remember why you must rise. This life is not a rehearsal. There are no retakes. You don't get to rewind the scene and recite a better line. What you do today is the only version that will ever exist. So speak with fire, move with thunder, decide with conviction. Don't just chase goals, embody them. Don't just wish for change, become it. You think this message found you by accident? No. Something inside you, maybe long buried, wanted this, needed this. A reminder that you were never ordinary, that the flame inside you didn't die, it just waited for the moment you remembered. And now you do. So don't you dare go back to sleep. Don't you dare play small to make others feel big. Don't you dare trade your calling for comfort. The clock is ticking, and if you ever need a sign again, this was it.